Okay, so let's practice what we just talked about in the previous slides. So with equivalent ratios, I'm just simply asking you to write two equivalent ratios for each given ratio. And remember, whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. Solving equivalent ratios is like simplifying fractions. That's really what equivalent ratios are. They're equal to the fraction that you're given. So in this case, you have to find something that's equal to that ratio that's given. So the biggest thing you need to remember, like I said in the previous slides, whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. Okay? So, and I said keep it easy for yourself. If you're keeping it easy for yourself, you're going to be multiplying or dividing it by facts that you know. So you're going to use your 2s, your 5s, your 10s. That's what you're going to list because those are quick ones that you can rattle off. Now, if you can rattle your multiples of 6 or you can rattle your multiples of 7 and 8, that's fine too. I'm not discouraging that at all. But if you do struggle, use ones that you know. So, for instance, I have 4 over 20. I need to determine two equivalent ratios for that. So 4 over 20. So I can multiply whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. So I'm going to pick 2. So I'm going to put 2 in my box. So 4 times 2 is 8. 20 times 2 is 40. Because in 4th and 5th grade, you learn how to multiply with when you have zeros at the end of your number. So all I did was 2 times 2, which was 4, and add the 1 0 to get 40. So now I'm going to pick another simple number, which is 5. I'm going to multiply both numbers by 5. So I have 4 times 5, which is 20. And I have 20 times 5, which is 5 times 2 is 10, plus another 0. So 20 times 5 is 100. So I can say 20 over 100. 5 over 6, I have to get two equivalent ratios. Again, keeping it simple. Remember, multiply, multiply. Gonna pick 2 again. Whatever I do to the top, gotta do to the bottom. 5 times 2 is 10. 6 times 2 is 12. So 10 over 12 is equivalent to 5 6. Now I have 5 6. Again, another one I have to do. Multiply by top, multiply by bottom. I'm going to pick 10 this time. Pick 10 this time. 5 times 10, 50. 6 times 10, 60. Again, 3 over 6. Okay, I'm thinking here, looking at 3 over 6, I know, and the way you know if you can multiply to get yourself a whole number, and that's why I want to look at this one very closely with you. If you're struggling to determine if you can divide or not, look and see if one of those numbers can go into the other number. Can I take a group of 3 out of 6, or can I take a group of 6 out of 3? And if you can do that, then you know that you can divide it by something. So in this case, I know that I can take 3 out of 6. So I can divide both the top and the bottom. So if I did 6 and I were to take a group of 3 out, I have to divide it by 3. So whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. So 3 divided by 3, if you have 3 and you need to make 3 equal groups with just those 3, you're going to have 1 in each group. If you have 6 and you need to make 3 equal groups, so 6 divided by 3, and you have, of those 6, you have to make 3 equal groups with all that, you're going to get 2. So 1/2 is equivalent to 3 over 6. Now, if you were like, well, I didn't know that, all you had to do is say, okay, well, I'm just going to multiply 3 times something and 6 times something. And you can say 3 times 2, 6 times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12. All right, so don't ever feel that you need to divide. You can always multiply when it's asking for equivalent ratios. Okay, so that's how you would solve for if they're just asking you, what are two equivalent ratios? And you're like, I don't know. Multiply top by bottom and get your answer. Okay.